What's happening, Robot Wars and BattleBots fans? Hardcore Kid here, and I have crippling depression! Okay, no. I'm here with Otaku Nate.
Hi, my name's Nate Milbank, and I have severe eating disorders. Well, okay, I don't have an eating disorder, it's just... I'm trying to cut carbs, okay? I don't want to look like Chris Hero.
Oh.
And who do we have as a guest reviewer today, Nate?
Well, making his debut on the Robot Wars podcasting scene, guy who's kind of made a name for himself in the online Robot Wars community, but is only now making a vocal appearance, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jack Finney.
Hey everybody, happy to be here.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, very good, thanks. Especially now BattleBots is back up and rolling again, so... Especially, you know, in the wake of Robot Wars getting cancelled, the goddamn BBC.
Happy anniversary!
Hey, if Brooklyn Nine-Nine can get cancelled and then resurrected by another network in the span of 4 hours, Robot Wars has a chance.
Let's just hope all that rumor and innuendo is true.
I mean, absolutely, because at the moment we're basically in a renaissance for robot combat at this point. So, because, I mean, just look at King of Bots and BattleBots currently airing, and Robot Wars, yeah, it didn't get the best ratings, but to be fair, it was up against ratings giants, and the online community, it's always been very supportive of it, so I have faith that we'll see it back sooner rather than later. So
let's hope so.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know what the live events are like on Twitch, but apparently, like, the live events, like Extreme Robots and Robots Live, they get good, viewers.
Mm.
Yeah, good viewers, a good showing. They brought back spinners now to the live events.
Finally!
Like, people complain, oh, they turned down the speed. You can only go to, like, 125 miles an hour, 200 miles an hour. And it's like, so what? Be thankful you got spinning weapons.
Something is better than nothing.
Yeah, and even at, like, 125 miles an hour, that's, like, twice the limit of what there was back in, like, what, Series 3? Because, you know, Hypnodisc originally only spun at 70 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
That was something that was brought up to me the other day. Somebody was complaining that you don't really see anything that's just Hypnodisc anymore. And, you know, putting aside the fact that that's blatantly obvious and everything, when you look at the statistics behind Hypnodisc, it actually spins at just the right speed that it would have been allowed at the live events nowadays, if you know, they'd been allowing of that.
But enough.
I guess just to show how far we've come along with robots, so yeah.
Are you in the process of building any bots?
I'm afraid not. I don't really have the money to at the moment, but, you know, I've always got stuff tucked away, so who knows? Maybe at some point, if I can afford it, we'll see what I can do.
Great.
I'm assuming that you're going to be going to BattleBots in September?
Oh, definitely. I'm not missing that for the world.
Yeah, if you don't know, BattleBots is a UK Beetleweight event. I believe Tim from Concussion is running it.
I believe it's Sarah Mallion from High Five.
Okay, so, and I hear they got a lot of Roboteers and a few...
The people involved in that, it reads like a guest list at a comic convention, only it's for Roboteers.
It's BeetleCon. So, yeah, that covers that. We'll talk about episode 3 of BattleBots tonight, and there were 5 matches again, but a lot of them were very short, but they did have a lot of good hits here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Including one particular one in the main event.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah, the main event of tonight's show was Bite Force versus Hypershock, but before that, we gotta go through the rest of the card, starting with the Battle of the Motorama Bots, Sawblaze and Overhaul. The kids from MIT have turned on each other, and now they're facing off.
I love the dynamic going into this fight of Charles Guan being the babyface and J-Mo being the heel. Brings back memories of all the classic rivalries. Liston versus Patterson, Hogan versus Andre, Deku versus Bakugo, Ash versus Gary, and the list goes on.
Mike Franklin versus Simon Harrison. Yeah, so Sawblaze is built by Jamison Go, who's known for building some really frightening bots like Silent Spring, DDT, Megatron, and now he's got this big monster, Sawblaze, which is basically... It's like what you do if you combined SOB from the old BattleBot series with a bit of Dead Metal, a bit of what's a good name of a forky thing? It's like a giant Wolverine claw, and it's also now got a big flamethrower that spews green flames out where the disc is. It looks amazing.
What kind of gas are they using to get that green color is what I want to know, because I know that certain chemicals burn in different colors. We'll have to ask Jim Jamatic on that one.
Yeah, is he an expert on methane and propane and cocaine? No,
that's not a gas.
Yeah, but it gives you superpowers, I hear. White snow. But
I mean, just look at Don Jones.
Or look at wrestling in the 80s, for that matter.
No, there's a lot of powder.
Want to know why wrestling was so great back in the 80s? Yo!
Hey, yo! But yeah, Sawblaze, I love this bot. JMO's a really cool guy. He and Charles are, hands down, two of the best robot builders, I think. Not only in the Northeast, I'd say the country right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he does a lot of work with 3D printed designs, CNC, Mark Forged, all kinds of wacky technologies got going up there.
3D printing.
3D printing.
Gary Cairns would be happy.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's not forget about the other kid from MIT. A guy, I believe you'd be good friends with, Nate.
Yeah, I think so.
Charles Guan and Overhaul.
I think I spoke with Charles at Bot Blast, but I can't remember.
He was the guy with blue hair.
Well, in the words of Strong Bad, you gotta have the blue hair.
Yeah, Overhaul. Little fun fact about both these machines. These are actually big heavyweight designs of featherweights that they have. Overhaul is based on Uberclocker, or as I like to call it, Underhaul. And Sawblaze is based off of Megatron, JMO's featherweight. And originally, like way back in the early 2000s, he also had a dustpan beetleweight called Ron, which was basically a beetleweight version of SOB. And Overhaul, I like it. It's a fantastic design. Like, I've seen the arm actually grab onto random objects and actually use them as weapons. Like at Mass Destruction, it actually grabbed onto an axe and just spun it around and acted as a thwackbot. It's fantastic. The biggest problem with it just gets the worst draws.
Oh my god, yeah. I felt so bad for Charles in this fight.
Yeah.
I loved JMO's little gesture he did before pressing the button.
Or you mean Charles?
Yeah, Charles.
Or both of them. Like, Charles had the best "do you even bot bro" face when he pressed the button. It was awesome. The match.
I get the feeling that we're going to see somebody top them, and it's a guy with a mohawk.
Oh yes, please.
Oh yes.
Well, you know what? That's what you need on this show. You need a lot of wacky characters, and Charles has the otaku gimmick. He's even got a picture of a blue-haired anime girl on the back, which
I think it's supposed to be Hatsune Miku, but I'm not sure.
It's supposed to be like a clone, but I guess he couldn't get the copyright for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool. Both bots are awesome, and we love both guys.
Mm-hmm. We're hoping to have them on for our show.
Yep. And the match itself, it was basically Sawblaze just slicing Overhaul a new unicorn horn.
Yeah, I think that narwhal horn that it had on the end of its beak is what did it in, because it got stuck behind the wall. Like I could see it trying to move. It looked to me like it got pinned.
I think, yeah, it kind of got stuck on the side there. I hope there wasn't any, like, debris there or something again, but...
Once again, Charles, I like you, but with that narwhal horn, congratulations, you played yourself.
Like, I see what they were trying to go with the horn. Like, he's able to get between the fangs on Sawblaze and just lift it up and over, but...
No. Just no.
Concept execution.
Yeah. Jack, what do you think of both these bots?
Well, going in, like, I'm not as familiar with BattleBots as, like, you guys, because I haven't had as much time to follow it since it was revived originally a couple of years ago. But, yeah, I was very impressed by Sawblaze in this fight, because, you know, historically speaking, saws, they haven't generally been the most effective weaponry you can really get, because they're not generally designed to cut metal and everything. But, yeah, I just thought the potency of Sawblaze's weapon, that was fantastic. Plus, combine that with, you know, the excellent driving and all that. And it was like, overhaul, it's definitely a really good machine from everything I've seen of it, you know, in the build-up to this and all that. But, yeah, it was just a horrible draw for them all around. So, yeah.
It's a design where they couldn't get any purchase on it between the front wedge and the sloped sides.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing to grab onto with Sawblaze. My favorite part of the match, though, was when Sawblaze is slicing into Overhaul's beak from the side.
I almost thought he was just going to slice that thing right off.
It looked like he almost sliced it. I would love to see a close-up of the damage from it.
Well, we'll check.
It looked like it's incredible. So, yeah.
Well, hopefully they have another bonus little thing on the Science Channel where they show.
Yeah, this time they're talking about
productivity.
the fight card or something, like how the card is put together.
Last week they showed they basically showed the damage to some bots like Bombshell and Vanquish and stuff, and it was all right, but it wasn't really anything worth talking about.
If you watched the Robot Wars reboot, you'd get the gist of what they were talking about.
Yeah, so that covers it. Sawblaze wins by murderous Sawblaze cutting. And J-Mo cuts a promo after, and he's playing up the heel gimmick awesomely. And J-Mo says he doesn't want to be the heel, but it's like, you know what? When you do this kind of thing for television, it makes it entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
And he was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Sawblaze gets the win, and hopefully we'll see more of Overhaul as well. So we go from Battle of the Motorama bots to Battle of the Robo Games bots with Whiplash versus Hypothermia.
Poor Fuzzy.
Yeah.
I like Hypothermia's concept, but it's just that one hit did it in.
Now, if you've never seen Polar Vortex, which is Fuzzy's other robot that he brings to Robo Games, basically it has two little lifting spikes on the side, kind of like Cherub, that move it down and lifts the wedge up so it can lift the entire bot up. And it also has two crushing or grabbing arms at the top so it can hold it in place, take it to hazards, do all kinds of stuff. And it's a really cool design, but unfortunately he has exposed tires, which, believe it or not, all of his bots have exposed tires.
A lot of them do.
Yeah, like Polar Vortex, but I think it's to... when you get a lot of good traction, so you're able to get around and such, and he's got the big NPC motors to get you around. And Whiplash is from Jeff Vasquez and Team Fast Electric Robotics. If you don't know who Jeff is, he originally competed in the original BattleBots and the second season of Robotica with Debbot, which is basically this boxy middleweight version of Biohazard with a lifting arm on it. And he's done a lot of work. He's actually built bots for TV. Oh, somebody's alarm went off. He's actually built bots for TV. He had his robot Doom on You, which was in an episode of 1,000 Ways to Die, which murders some guy in gruesome fashion, even more gruesome than on that CSI episode. And of all TV shows to build bots for, he also built them for that Zoe 101 episode Robot Wars.
Ooh.
Which had Debbot, which was disguised as this weird like axe bot that looked like a cross, which apparently got DQ'd because it was too tall, which is a bullshit rule. And then it got blown up by an antweight armed with a laser cannon in an area where there were no screens. So congratulations, Zoe 101. You just ousted those what are they, India or whatever arenas for unsafe fighting environments.
Yeah. You managed to out India in terms of lax safety standards.
Yeah, well, don't worry, it's fake.
I'd forgotten about that.
It's kayfabe. But yeah, Whiplash, this was a silver medalist at Robo Games 2017, and it's a powerful bot.
What's its Robo Games name?
Whiplash.
Oh!
Yeah, they managed to keep the name.
That's cool.
Yeah, this they actually, it was originally called Splatter, named after their Beetleweight, which competed in the second season. And it's got this really cool lifting arm design with the disc spinner on it. It's only 25 pounds, but it has a lot of power in it, as it showed in this match.
I can imagine.
As it retired hypothermia.
Nice one, Jonathan Pierce.
Yeah.
So, Jack, what'd you think of these bots?
Right, yeah. This was another great fight, in my opinion, for, well, bits of it anyway. Whiplash, I love the articulating weapon, the way, you know, it can do a full 180, so that, you know, everything behind it. And, yeah, just some great power in that machine. Very well driven as well, I thought. And, like I said, I think Farouk's pun game was on point going in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I gotta say...
That's the first time I've heard a 50 pun that didn't make me roll my eyes.
Like, we like Farouk, but some of his intros have gotten a bit more cringy lately.
I don't know, man. He was on point this episode. Like, I didn't think there was a single one that made me go, "Oh, that was bad." Like, every single one of them was gold this time around. Especially the Overhaul and Sawblaze fight. Like, those two were excellent.
I don't know. How would you feel if you had your robot intro have a 50 Shades reference?
He can make it... Well, Farouk can make it work. I still say
Get the cream cheese spreader.
The one that got me the most in that opening bit was... it wasn't the 50 Shades reference that got me, it's just him saying, "Hope you know the safe word." I mean, Farouk, this is a family show, man!
Do it like you do it on the Discovery Channel. Yeah. So, basically, Hypothermia... Again, this was kind of a short match. Hypothermia was able to get the wedge and the jaws in and latch onto Whiplash. But then Whiplash came back, got some big hits in, ripped off one of Hypothermia's wheels, and basically ate it.
Mm-hmm.
Bad case of Whiplash, but you know what?
Hypothermia could use some water after this one.
Need some ice for that burn. But Whiplash, I think it was either Matthew or Jason driving it, and hands down one of the best drivers in the sport right now, and Whiplash really showed it.
I love the bits in the match where Hypothermia extended its disc all the way back to... No.
Whiplash.
Whiplash extended its disc all the way back to hit Hypothermia. That's a cool way of showing off.
It did like a backwards punch. I don't even know if is there a wrestling move for that?
It's a back... I think it would be like a backhand slap or something.
Yeah.
A spinning back fist.
Yeah, that's a good name for it. But yeah, Whiplash gets the... Oh, now Nate's looking it up. Spinning back fist knockout. Well, there you go. There's some... looks like a reverse clothesline, kinda. Something to that effect.
Yeah, it's an MMA move.
It's an MMA move. You can use it in wrestling too, probably. Oh, wow.
That would be a great... it's like a reverse lariat.
Oh, yeah. There it is.
Or maybe, if you will, AJ Styles' Pele kick.
Oh, yeah, that too. That's a perfect one. That's a good analogy for it.
Anyway, we're getting off track.
Well, yeah. So we had a three-way rumble here. The first, the Four Horsemen, speaking of wrestling, Double Jeopardy. Where's Arn Anderson? Double Jeopardy and BattleBots Veterans Gamma 9. Let's start off with the elephant in the room. Double Jeopardy.
Oh. What is this thing again?
It's a giant gun.
Why? Just because you can, it doesn't mean you should.
Yeah, so there was a lot of hype about this bot going in. Basically, they have... we talked about the little laser gun ant weight from Zoe 101. This is a legit gun with a cannon that fires a giant round. And here's the catch, though. It can only fire one round. One.
Just...
Uno.
Why? Why would you do that?
And especially when you consider the bot itself, like, what other weapon does it have once the the round is gone. Because, number one, this robot is slow. I honestly cannot see it push anything. Like, it really couldn't even push Gamma 9.
It looks like it's just 6 wheelchair motors going at once.
Yeah. Well, of course. It's like lots of chain drive, but I've never been a big fan of chains. I actually do have the chain from King B that got broken in its match against Megalodon. Yeah, that's why they lost to Megalodon. One of the chains fell off, because once one of those chains breaks, you're kind of screwed. And Double Jeopardy was pretty much in pieces at the end of the match.
I like the team, though. I'll say that.
Yeah,
much.
like they're awesome. They're awesome, and they had a good idea in mind. Unfortunately, the round wasn't effective. Like, it went up against it fired against Gamma 9, and it did nothing.
I'll say this though, like, if you want to go like the shooting weapon route, just copy Spawn of Scudder.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Like a little pneumatic spike that pops out of the forehead and just tosses you around.
Yeah.
Jack, what do you think of Double Jeopardy?
Well, it's like you said, it's just because you can doesn't mean you should. It was like the whole idea of projectile weapons and robot combat. It's kind of a stupid one to begin with, and yeah, I noticed some design flaws with it. For example, at first I thought it was a little bit like a wedge at the front, but then I looked at it and realized, no, that wedge doesn't go all the way to the ground, and there's way too much ground clearance for it to be able to act as that when, they shot their load and, can't do it.
And I think I just noticed they actually destroyed their wedge when they fired the round.
Pretty much, yeah. Their robot basically almost exploded when they fired the gun, and it was just like, well, points for effort at the very least. It was nothing if not, a bout of ingenuity. But
if they want to look at just robots firing projectiles, just look at Brutus. Just bang, bang, bang. Man, got some good shots on Invader. Yeah.
Mobius.
No, they're both spinners. So let's move on to the BattleBots veteran, Gamma 9, who originally competed with Gamatron, Side in the original BattleBots, and also they competed in the original Robot Wars with Nameko?
Namreko.
Yeah, not the most stable robots, but they definitely have some crazy designs to it. And I have to say, this is definitely their best robot they've built.
Oh my god, this thing looks amazing. It reminds me of, like, Smidsy. Like, if it had an evolved form, this is what Smidsy would look like. Like, it's those orange eyes on that little sphere in the middle that make me fall in love with it. And to its credit, it looked pretty effective, this one.
Although I still think it's using I'm not sure. I think it's using polycarb and Lexan. I'm not entirely sure, because I know their original bots had Lexan to them. Like, remember Gamatron had the head popped off against Panic Attack. But I do like the look at it. The Crusher, for the most part, was effective at some points. Unfortunately, it was unable to compete with the swarm of awesome that is the Four Horsemen.
Woo!
I'm holding up 4 fingers
Me
right
too.
now.
Doing the Four Horsemen salute.
So what were the name of the bots? I know the wedge is named Buttercup. What were the other names of them?
War,
Pestilence,
Famine, and Buttercup.
Well, darn. Here I thought their names were Blossom, Bubbles, and Bliss.
Nah, for me, I would have just gone with Arn, Oli, Rick, and Tully.
There you go. Woo!
Yep. Woo!
All right. Enough of the wooing. So the Four Horsemen. When we had Jim Jamatic on and we were talking about the swarm in Robot War Series 10 Episode 1, we mentioned that if the Four Horsemen had more spinners, they'd be more effective. And lo and behold, they had 2 spinners here, and they had some real power to them.
Oh, man. I think my biggest problem with them is that they seem to be too powerful for their own good, because they were smoking by the end of this.
Yeah, and the match kind of petered out when the Four Horsemen were kind of on fire. Gamma 9 rammed into one of them and knocked itself out. So, yeah, the match had to go to a judge's decision because of it, and Buttercup was the only one still moving.
I gotta say, can I just give all the praise in the world to Sam Watts?
Yep, he's the MVP.
Mm-hmm. The Bigger Brother team are one of my favorites from Classic Robot Wars, and it's mostly because I love the Watts children of Joe and Ellie. And Sam has done a great job of being the spiritual successor to Joe Watts.
Yeah.
He's
getting older now, though. He's like what, 14 now?
Yeah, but he's such a good sport about it though, and he's smart. Like he's a good driver. Did you see the way Buttercup was getting underneath Gamma 9 with that wedge?
Yeah, it's got power to it. Was able to get underneath, and I think was able to push it a little bit.
Mm.
It definitely get it high centered at least. So
yeah,
it's like if only the spinners had actually, not stopped working at that point, they could have dealt out some serious destruction on them. But yeah,
I don't know. I think are they reserves, or I think they might have more matches in the future. I'm not entirely sure. No.
We'll have to ask Ed. He'd know.
Yeah. That covers the Rumble. The Four Horsemen got the win, got the decision. Good for them.
Mm-hmm.
So we went from Battle of the Motobots, RoboGames bots, a variety of wacky designs. Now we move on to the West Coast Alliance.
No.
From the West, from Seattle, Washington. Warhawk versus Axe Backwards, which looks like some wacky combination of barbarous and huge.
That's what I was saying to my Australian friend when we were watching the episode earlier. I was like, that looks just like Barbarous, but with a different paint scheme.
It's Barbarous on LSD.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks cool, and it's actually got axes as the little feet to keep it right. It looks amazing.
I love this thing.
Yeah. But Warhawk, going in, I felt Warhawk was going to get the win, and Warhawk is yet another disc/wedge bot. We've been seeing a lot of those this season.
Yeah.
But there's a good reason. They're effective. You're able to get underneath the opponents. You're able to get the disc into them. These got power. And Warhawk is driven by Rob Farrow, who has built, I believe he's built a lot of D2 kits, or he owns a lot of D2 kits. In fact,
to Builders DB.
To the Builders DB, he's gonna look up the BattleBots. This is definitely I love the look of this bot. It's got the Western Allied robots Indian type logo going on the front. It looks great. What do you think about it, Jack?
Yeah, design of Warhawk absolutely amazing, and like both aesthetically and just the design as a whole, really, because it's such an efficient design when you really look at it. Because it was like you pointed out, we're seeing a lot of vertical wedge spinners lately, and because of how effective they've become at this point. Because I mean, you only have to look at Robot Wars and take a look at Aftershock, for example.
Yeah.
Also, what was the name of the robot in King of Bots? Grill Judge, I think.
I think I could never follow the names, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was always my problem with it. Beyond the the American and English teams in it, much to my shame. But also with Endgame now as well, because we saw how effective Endgame was the other week. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Meanwhile, we have to talk about Axe Back. Oh wait, we already talked.
Yeah, we talked about Axe Back. Well, we can talk about the match. Same kind of issue with hypothermia. Really exposed wheels. And once Warhawk was able to get that wheel,
that one hit where it just set flying, the sound it made when it came crashing down, just this dome, 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 dome. That was so satisfying to hear.
Yeah.
Plus the way, the motor came out with the wheel as well.
And how it tried using the rear axis.
It tried. There was a good shot where Warhawk actually hit one of the axe, and you can actually see it flying through the air. That was awesome.
It's like a tomahawk. It's like axe throwing.
Yeah, and just like overhaul, it showed it can use attacks as a weapon. Yeah, too. Yeah, but yeah, this match was all Warhawk. So, now my predictions for this episode were as such: Sawblaze, Whiplash, Gamma 9, Warhawk, and Hypershock.
Oh,
and
dear.
I ended up going 3 of 5.
I didn't make any predictions because I didn't want to jinx it.
Jack, did you have any predictions?
Not as such. I figured maybe Sawblaze for the opening and Whiplash, but aside from that, yeah, those were the only ones I had because everything else I'm not well informed enough to really know going in. But yeah, I'm glad I didn't try and predict the end one because leading up to it, I was thinking maybe Hypershock, and well, that speaks for itself at this point, doesn't it?
Yeah. So, Bite Force, 2015 champion, and the first robot of the season to have 2 matches aired. Well, of course, it should make it look strong. It's a former champion, after all. I did have Hypershock. Hypershock was my prediction here. Will Bales is a great guy.
Oh, he's a great character.
Really fantastic driver, but the big problem with Hypershock, well, number one, it looks kind of rickety this season. Like, the tires are exposed. When the match started, I saw it bump into the floor, and you could actually see sparks flying, and I'm like, uh-oh.
Its disc didn't look like it was aligned properly.
No. And when it got flipped over, I thought, oh, it can just self-right using the lifters. It didn't have I don't think it had the lifters in this match.
No, it didn't.
And when you're fighting a vertical spinner like Bite Force, I thought, okay, if it gets flipped over, it can just use it and just right itself. But that didn't happen. It got stuck.
And then the good hit came.
And then it got gutted.
Disemboweled.
Ugh.
Exactly.
Everything came out. It's like a fatality in Mortal Kombat.
Or like the Predator when he rips your spine right out of your body. It was grotesque.
It's like we're free for free on crazy destruction throughout the last few episodes as well. Because, I mean, let's see, in the first episode we had the arena get turned into a smoking ruin by Minotaur and Tombstone. Last week we saw a robot literally get ripped in half, and now we've seen one literally be disemboweled. All in the span of 3 episodes.
I love it.
This is
gorgeous.
This is going to be in the running for the John Reed Award for Best Hit.
Yeah, we got quite a few ones. We got the Vanquish one. We got the Hypershock one. It's going to be tough, but we are in fact doing awards for the end of the year, and so far oh crap! Look, I got the list right here of all the award nominations we have so far. And Huge is on all of them. Best Design, Huge. Most Destructive, Huge. PSD Shit Award, Huge. Most Awesome, Laughable, Crazy Weapon.
Double Jeopardy.
Yes. But yeah, I think that pretty much covers the episode. The matches were short, but there were some good hits. I thought it was a little better than...
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because the last episode, a lot of the matches were over quickly, and there wasn't huge destruction aside from the Ice Wave match. So, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give it a 7.
I'll give it a 7, too. There is one moment that we have to bring up that really made this episode for me. Farouk's face in the main event during the intro.
What was the intro when he
it's like it was talking about like things that are shocking, and the third thing he said was like finding your retainer in your girlfriend's mouth. And then he just makes his face like, who wrote this shit? Oh yeah, that's right, me. Oh my god, we're gonna. I think that face is gonna be our thumbnail.
Gotta be done. I mean, it's kind of appropriate with his name being Farouk and everything, and it just brought Ron Simmons to mind for me.
Damn. I said that damn out in public, and I scared an elderly woman.
You're a gentleman, Nate. So, what else to say? There was the bonus segment is the fight card prep. Again, we're not going to be covering that.
Yeah, we'll just mention it in passing.
I do have an ideas for future episodes of the podcast, though. We might do a little bonus add-on, because obviously, with only 5 matches and with the format going, these episodes are probably going to get shorter and shorter. And this episode is only about 35 minutes long. I have been thinking next week we might want to cover either the Zoe 101 episode of Robot Wars, so we can tear that apart, or maybe Nickelodeon Robot Wars. No?
You're on your own there, kiddo.
Oh, come on.
I'll say this though. I'm gonna say ahead of time that I will unfortunately be unavailable the weekend of June the 9th, because I have Anime Next that weekend.
Yeah. And yeah, me too. Next week the podcast might not come out until Monday, because I will be going to the House of Robotic Destruction event at Colossal Con.
Enjoy yourself.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a bit of a drive, so hopefully I'll be able to survive it.
Just put on something to wrestle with, and the drive will go quickly.
Yeah, and they got it's the largest indoor water park. So after all the robot fighting is done, I'm gonna be going in there.
Just watch out for the con goers, man.
I've heard bad things.
It's the way I describe it is that it's Katsucon, but it's in the summertime. You'll see just as many amazing costumes, and it's just as big of a shit show.
Ugh. Yeah, I'll be careful. Don't worry. But yeah, that covers this episode, episode 3. Next week is episode 4. There's no card yet, so we don't know who's going to be on the episode. Usually they release the card on Wednesday or Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully, when I get to Sandusky, hopefully the hotel has the Discovery channel.
It should.
If not, I'll just watch it on the Science channel on Wednesday. So.
Bring your microphone with you so that you can record from the road.
Yeah.
If the hotel has one.
I'm not a big. I'm gonna wait until Monday. I don't like my snowball.
That's smart.
I don't know what happened in the last episode, but all the audio from my microphone was coming out of one speaker. Mm-hmm. Like I had my headphones going on, and I could hear. Oh, I can hear myself from the left. I can hear all Ed Robinson and everybody from the right.
Yeah, just make sure your settings are right. But we've rambled on enough.
Yeah. But this was a solid episode, I thought. Lots of good hits, some good matches, some wacky designs, and some wacky Farouk intros.
Oh, yeah.
Farouk is the MVP.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Farouk is going to be to the BattleBots reboot what Angela Scanlon is to the Robot Wars reboot.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cute and exciting.
I was at...
No, go on, Jack.
Me and my Australian friend, we were actually talking about him earlier on while we were watching the episode, and we were both agreeing he'd make a fantastic wrestling announcer.
Mm-hmm.
Because his just the way he conducts himself and everything is just he's clearly having so much fun with it. He's clearly so into this. He's got all the chops for it. He'd make a great wrestling or MMA announcer if he ever wanted to do that. But right now, yeah, it's just great having him here for BattleBots.
I just want to know where they found him, because he's amazing.
I
guess they found him.
But he must have been doing
he was in the ABC room of crazy announcers.
Whatever. Anyway, I think it's time to go.
Yeah, this was a short podcast, but you know what? We had fun. Did you have fun, Jack?
Yeah, absolutely loved it, guys. Was really happy to be on.
Great.
I'd be happy to join you guys if you'd ever have me back. So yeah.
All right. Well, we'll let you know when we're going to be recording again, and we'll have you back on, and hopefully we'll have more guests, some guest Roboteers with us.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah. So until next time, guys, and I think when we might do Extreme Warrior Season 2 somewhere down the line. So if we want to do some reviews, we can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Until next time, guys. I'm the Hardcore Kid,
and I'm Otaku Nate.
And I'm Jack Finney, so...
And until next time, peace out, cease, see you at Colossal Con.
Farouk, no, there are children in the audience!